Hi YouTube, hi YouTube. We're gonna go over everything that changed in the patch, and we're gonna talk about why your builds suck or don't work as well as before, or why they feel really OP, or why the enemy feels really OP. And then I'll go over the big winners and losers in terms of items. Okay? And then later down the line we'll make a tier list for heroes as well. But I think it's really important to understand how the new items work and how the new item system works, and why the old builds or the builds you might be trying are not working out as well anymore. 800 items provide way less value than they used to be. Why? Because they're now 800, which is exactly half the price of a 1600 item. Whereas before, in the old patch, the 500 items were 500, so you could basically almost buy 3 500 items for one 1600 item. So the first thing I'll give you, on most characters in the game, do not spam a lot of 800 items in lane. It will delay your build by quite a lot. And in fact, even spamming a lot of 1600 items will delay your build quite a lot. In the new items, for the new items, it really feels like the main strong items start at 3.2k. And from my experience, it is really worth rushing some of them to get a lot of high value. Now, there are some items in the 1600 category that are really good, like Titanic. It's really strong now. But yeah, overall, do not spam a lot of 800 items, okay? So what I would recommend, and this is obviously situational from hero to hero, but what I would recommend is running like a few maximum, like 3 maximum, and that's it, okay? Because if you run any more, it's just gonna delay your build by quite a lot. And that, I think, is the main issue most people have with the new build system. They try to go a lot of 800s and 1600s, and it's twice as bad because you also have less slots. So suddenly you're in the mid game and you run out of slots really early, and then you have to sell already. And if you sell items at like 7 minutes in, you're losing a lot of money, obviously, if that makes sense. I think Cultist Sacrifice is a broken item right now, and I think it will be nerfed. In fact, I think I'm gonna rush this today in lane on basically every character in the game. Monster rounds helps you stay alive in lane, right? If you play passive, you can shoot the creeps down so fast that the enemy can't push you. You can also play aggressive if you're doing well, right? It's gonna allow you to tower dive more. But more importantly, monster rounds actually did get a buff because they give 1.5 out of combat regen. So if you don't fight for a few seconds, you get regen. So you can buy this and kind of skip something like extra regen, right? So you're already staying alive longer in lane. And with the new changes, every character starts with more HP and every character scales with more HP. So if you level up, you get way more HP compared to the last patch. So I start with monster rounds and then I go for cultist in lane. And this sounds really silly, right? It's a 3.2k item as second item. But once you get this, which is not that much money if you think about it, right? Because it builds from monster rounds. So once you buy monster rounds, all you need is 2,400 in lane to buy this. What you do is you sacrifice a lane creep. Reason being is, the way this item works is it gives you 150% extra gold, right? And these creeps, lane creeps, give you more gold if you sacrifice them, 200 extra, compared to if you were to sacrifice a tier 2 creep, even, right? And by the time you get this item first, so this is way less money. By the time you get this item first, tier 3 creeps shouldn't even have spawned yet, right? So you sacrifice the first time you sacrifice a lane creep, and after that, you want to sacrifice tier 3 creeps. Because tier 3 creeps still give a little bit more money. So for the second cooldown, because the cooldown is so high, the second time around, you just go up to tier 3 creep, sacrifice it. Early in the game, which it is, right? Like right now I'm at 700 HP. Let's say I level up like twice, right? Like I'm still at like 770 HP, and suddenly I get cultist and sacrifice something, right? And suddenly I'm on 1100. This is like a 33 or like 40% health increase instantly. And it also gives me 25% fire rate, and it gives me ability range, which by the way is bugged right now. It doesn't work. But that's not why we're buying it. It's just really, really solid to farm, and really, really strong stats. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the stat bonus only lasts for 180 seconds. So after 180 seconds, there's going to be an 80-second downtime where you don't get any buffs, right? So you have to play around that. So if your cooldown on the item is in the last 80 seconds of the item, okay, you don't want to fight, basically. You want to avoid fighting for 80 seconds. That's it. As long as this item is active, it's really strong. If it's not active, do not fight. That's it. Okay? So that's the first big winner. I think this item, some people think it's bad. I think it's amazing, especially on farm characters. It's really, really strong. Some people think it's better on supports because you can sacrifice and you don't have to farm. I think it's good on almost everyone that benefits from fire rate, is my opinion. Like, as long as you like fire rate on your hero, this item is insane. Because over the long run, it's going to give you value, and the stats it gives you early are really, really good. Really good, right? A lot of regen, a lot of resistance to walkers, towers, creeps, and more damage to them. Okay. Yeah, so... yeah, I rush it first. The only time I don't rush it first is if I need extra regen. And then I buy it as third item, right? Okay, so yeah, if you look at the build now, this is my raid build that I'm gonna make a video about soon. I only run 4 items, and I even thought about getting rid of extra charge. Because 800 items, in my opinion, are the biggest losers of this patch, other than a few exceptions. Another big winner of the patch is Mystic Regeneration. This is a new item. What it does is, as long as you apply spirit damage, it gives you a really high amount of HP regen, but it only lasts for 6 seconds. So what is this item good on? It's good on characters that spam a lot of spirit damage. So the main 2 characters this item is amazing on are Lady Geist and Mirage, because both those characters can instantly apply spirit damage at all times, right? Malice has no cooldown, and the 3 of Mirage has literally no cooldown. Also great on Infernus, by the way. Yeah, if you get a burn off or a catalyst or you run through them, you get this heal. And it does stack on multiple heroes, so if you hit both enemy heroes, you get double the regen. So technically, this is a way better extra regen. But the reason I'm not even running it on Wraith is Wraith, like, yeah, you have cards and you spam them, but in practice, I think it's less consistent. Because you need to hit the cards, and on Wraith, you don't throw the cards every few seconds, right? And because this is only active, think about it this way, this heals me for 4.5 HP a second, right? Whereas extra regen hits me for 3.5, right? But extra regen is on at all times. So this item is only better if you really permanently spam spirit damage. Good on Shift, probably, yeah. Because, I mean, see, yeah, I would say it's not as good as on Mirage or on... Yo, thank you for the raid, Zan. It's not as good on as on Mirage or Lady Geist, because it's way easier to do that on them, but like I think it's good on Shift, probably, yeah, if you hit your knives. So yeah, this is another big winner, one of the best 800 items. But overall, I would say 800 items are losers, just like 1600 items. Most of them are really, really pretty low value, I would say, right? In the gun category, intensifying is bait. Like getting this early, right? 40 weapon damage sounds nice, but if it's so early, it's really hard to keep up the max weapon damage bonus for Intensifying Magazine. Swift Striker is fine. A big winner, in my opinion, is opening rounds, if you use your gun a lot. This is basically like cheap, pristine emblem. It gives you 40%, but always on weapon damage, as long as the enemy is above 50 HP. So I would think of this as like 20% bonus damage at all times, plus spirit power. So if you have a character that benefits from spirit, this is a great item. Otherwise, the meta right now seems to be gun, spirit hybrid, where spirit is most important. Gun items seem to be a lot weaker than spirit items. And running a full gun build is not really worth it. In general, I said this in my last video, and I explained this to you yesterday, chat. Running full gun is not worth because the scaling of the bonus damage you get is diminishing, right? So once you get over the threshold of like spending 16k on gun items, you don't get a lot of bonus weapon damage anymore. So ideally, you want like a solid mix still between the 3 categories. And in my opinion, you want the least of vitality, because vitality scaling is the worst. And green items got nerfed the worst. We really seem to be in a spirit meta, and the reason I say spirit gun meta is because of this item. This is the most broken item in the game. It will get nerfed in like 3 days, so you better abuse this now. This is Mercurial Magnum, and you don't seem to think it's OP when you read it. So what it does is it gives you ammo, spirit power, fire rate, and
Glass cannon and spiritual overflow good now.
We'll talk about it in a second. So what this item does is it gives you fire rate, guaranteed 60 spirit damage, and then it gives you base bullet damage based on your spirit power. So it scales with your spirit power. What this means is you imbue it on an ability, and after you use the ability, your entire clip is gonna do a percentage of your gun damage that you already have as spirit damage, depending on how much spirit you have. Okay, so it's kind of complicated, but not really. You buy this shit, you put it on an ability that you can spam easily, okay? And then you use that ability, and the enemy dies instantly.
Don't stop firing.
And if you look at the damage I'm doing here, I'm doing more spirit damage
Comes in many forms.
than gun damage with my gun.
You should run. Find them.
And this is like, you know, at 11k. Obviously, I wouldn't rush this, but this item is insanely broken. It's insane on Wraith. People run it on Infernus. On Infernus, you put it on your napalm, right? And if you don't even need a lot of burn. So what happens is you go into the fight, right? You go into the fight and you press this. You have fire rate, they burn, and you do an insane amount of spirit damage.
Sorry, pal.
And every time you use your active ability, you get a reload. And I don't know if that's a bug right now, if it's supposed to be that way, but you get a diminishing reload, right? So what you can do on Wraith, if I show you my Wraith build, is once you get to this, which I get pretty early in the game. So once you get to this, which by the way, it builds out of Quicksilver Reload, which is an amazing item in itself. But let's say I get this in the mid game. Right now I'm at 23k net worth, right? So really not that high, and I don't really have a lot of items that give me ammo, okay? So this is what you can do. You just press this, and you throw the card, and every time you throw the card, you get a reload. So what happens is you have an infinite magazine, basically.
Shame. You're the hell of a bartender.
And I just did 6k spirit damage with that, and 3k gun damage. So yeah, I mean, I think this item is completely overtuned. It's completely broken, and you can call this Spirit Wraith, but like it's gun damage technically, but it's spirit damage out of the gun. Okay, that's why I'm saying it's like a hybrid between gun and spirit. Like you shoot your gun mostly, but you do mostly spirit damage right now. This item is insane. Which brings me to the next winner of the patch. Wait, where is it? So, Tesla Bullets is stronger now because it has an upgrade that is named Capacitor. Capacitor is basically, you spend another 3k once you have Tesla, and you get a skill shot. And what the skill shot does is, it removes any active buff the enemy has on them, okay? So, an example I can give you is Viscous Cube. So, the Viscous...
Open fire.
Wait, I didn't mimic. Am I brain dead? What is the button for the cube?
Vanishing.
Like, how do I stealth cast? Ah, okay, yeah, I'm stupid. Okay, so what you can do is, if the enemy viscous cubes. Hello? Can you cube? No cooldown. Come on, come on. So if the enemy viscous cubes, you shoot this and it's suddenly gone.
No one is my equal.
You can also just use this to. You can use this to remove basically any buff in the game. Any buff in the game, okay? That is not ultimate, sorry. Ultimate buffs cannot be removed. So you can't remove Warden ult, but you can remove Warden Spirit Shield. You can remove Abraham's Infernal Resilience thing. What is it called? The one. Abraham's one. You can remove Wraithful Auto. You can remove Spirit Shield. You can remove Vindicta Flight. You can remove 7 Surge of Power. He becomes completely useless. You can remove 7-3. He pops it, you shoot him once, you can remove that. You can remove, I don't know. Can you remove, I think you can remove the Lash Grapple if you hit him during it. You can remove the Lady Geistsuck. You can remove the Arctic Beam of Kelvin. You can remove the Ice Path of Kelvin. You can remove the Run of Infernus. You can remove Talonflight. You can remove Dig of Moon Krill, but that seems to be bugged right now. There's like a bug animation. Like it removes them, but they still look like they're in the ground. But you can remove Burrow. And in case I didn't mention it, it also slows the enemy by 100%, which means they're on maximum slow when you hit them. So really insane item. Makes Tesla better because you can just buy Tesla for 3k, and then whenever you have the money and you don't have a flex slot, you upgrade to capacitor. It's pretty low cooldown as well, by the way. It's 30-second cooldown, so you can maybe even use it twice a fight. So what you do is you throw this shit and they die, right? Why is the Whisker still rolling? I'm not even controlling it. You can... Wait, can you remove Unstoppable? That would be OP. I don't think that's a thing. Maybe. It says non-ultimate buffs. Can you remove Unstoppable? Wait. Let's see. That would be OP because Unstoppable stops debuffs, right? You can't. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that would make no sense because it's the one thing Unstoppable is supposed to do. Anyways, another big winner. Okay, so Boundless is a lot stronger on a lot of characters. They changed this item. It does give less spirit power. It doesn't give 30% gun damage anymore. But what it does instead is every time you cast an ability, you get movement speed and healing. Now, think of the implications. That means, and we're gonna do that today, by the way, and I figured this out off stream. It's also insane on Geist, but that means you buy this on Wraith or Geist and you spam cards on Malice, and every time you spam them, you get healing. By the way, the funniest part is you don't even have to hit the ability. You just have to cast it. So even if you miss the ability, you get health back. So you just spam your abilities if you have them. And so what you can do is you buy Boundless, and then you can even get healing booster for a little bit of an upgrade. And suddenly you get 125 healing a cast. So what this would look like is like a normal mid game, right? This is not even that expensive. Right now I'm at 3.4k. Let's even sell capacitor, right? So like right now I spent like 30k. That's like super realistic to have. And then I'm in a fight and I'm like low, right? Let me sacrifice something real quick so the buff is active. Every time you throw a card, you just... And I want you to understand that this, what I just showed you, has 0 items that actually have lifesteal, other than Boundless, okay? I don't have Bullet lifesteal or Spirit lifesteal. I don't have Infuser. Nothing in this build has lifesteal, okay? So you can skip all the lifesteal items. The funny thing is, actually, they nerfed Bullet lifesteal, and they nerfed Spirit lifesteal. They cost more and give you less, right? Like right now I'm healing booster. I have healing booster, so they look good. But here, Bullet lifesteal only gives you 16% lifesteal. Same for Spirit, so they give you way less lifesteal until you upgrade them to like Leech or Infuser. So you skip these and you just buy Boundless, which ups your damage on your full auto. It ups your damage on your cards, right? And it ups your damage on the Mercurial Magnum. And yeah, then you basically go in, you press your full auto, and you just throw cards, right? And you can do the exact same thing on Geist, where on Geist it's even more ridiculous. And by the way, Geist is probably the most broken character in the game right now. Like, Geist is completely overpowered. Let me sacrifice something real quick. So what you do is you spam like Malice, and every time you cast anything here, you get health back. Even when you cast a life suck, you get health back. So you can do this. And this is like ridiculous healing. And this is healing without having any fucking lifesteal. That's the worst part. Like, it's, I guess he has Spirit lifesteal, but like the healing you get from Boundless is ridiculous, right? It is a worse item on some characters. Like, for example, 7, I would say Boundless is worse, because 7 really benefits from the raw spirit power, and 7 doesn't spam abilities, right? So Boundless is now an item that is really strong on characters that spam abilities. And once you go Boundless, you can also upgrade your healing booster into Healing Tempo. There's another 6k item, and it ups the effectiveness of healing a tiny bit more. But so what Healing Tempo does is it gives you 40% fire rate and movement speed every time you heal. And the way they define healing is active items or healing from items. So lifesteal doesn't count. Okay, so if you buy bullet lifesteal or spirit lifesteal, it doesn't count. But boundless counts, right? So it works with boundless. So what you do is you cast any abilities here and you get perma, 40% fire rate and movement speed as long as you do this. The entire time. It's up the entire time. Because this item, Healing Tempo, has no cooldown. It lasts for 7 seconds as long as you heal, and because every single one of your abilities heal, you basically spend 6k for 40% fire rate, movement speed permanently, spirit resist, and health. And more healing. So this is crazy. This is a crazy late game upgrade. So, anti-healing across the board got nerfed, but there is more items that have anti-heal. What I mean by that is, so the Healbane, for example, got less anti-healing. It's now only 35%. Same for Toxic Bullets. Toxic Bullets used to be what? It used to be 40, right? I think Toxic Bullets, and now it's 30. Didn't it used to be like 45? But yeah, it's worse, okay? So, anti-healing or healing reduction got nerfed overall, but they added it to a few more items. So, Decay also a 3k item, so it's harder to get by, and it only reduces healing by 35% and not like, what was it, 80, right? But it's now on Crippling Headshot, it is now on Inhibitor, and it is on Spirit Burn. And Spirit Burn is the biggest anti-heal in the game, okay? But I wouldn't say that's a buff to anti-healing. In fact, I would argue it's a nerf, because until you get to late game, you will have less anti-heal on the enemy, okay? Especially early, mid-game, the chance of the enemy having multiple decays or even one decay is low. Toxic Bullets, 30% is not that much. Same for 35. It's not for like 50, right? It's not, it's worse. Anti-healing is worse. And I'm willing to debate on if it's a buff to Crippling Headshot, because yeah, they added healing reduction to Crippling Headshot, but they also made it a cooldown. And they also reduced the resist shred it gives you. It now only reduces your bullet and armor, your bullet and spirit armor by 18%. And that being said, we can talk about Spirit Burn next, I guess, because I do think this item is really strong. It's like I would think of this as like the ultimate late game Toxic Bullets, technically, for spirit characters. Because it gives 80% healing reduction and it deals damage per second and explosion damage. So all you have to do is have to deal 400 damage in the span of 5 seconds. So a lot of characters can do that. So I think it's a great item on like Lash, even Infernus, right? Infernus, you shoot them and burn them, and then this will proc most likely in 5 seconds. It's great anti-heal, but it costs 6k for the best anti-heal in the game. Great Talon? Yeah, I mean, this is guaranteed anti-heal on Great Talon. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't it be better on Great Talon to have Raw Spirit instead of this for now? Because yeah, it does decent damage, but I think it's mostly for the anti-heal, right? Like, this is like the ultimate anti-heal item, I would say. So I think this is a great item, don't get me wrong. It's one of the better new items, but I don't think if I buy Boundless to heal more, even if they have a lot of anti-heal, I don't really care that much, because Boundless still gives insane stats, like 40 Spirit Power for 6k, plus the Spirit Power I get innately for buying it is worth, right? It's still a great item. And funnily enough, and we'll do testing today, I'm building Quicksilver and Surge on 1. Like I'm running Card Wraith basically, but only because I'm spamming cards to have Mercurial Magnum up always. Other winners, Ricochet got a big buff. Ricochet is better, it gives way more fire rate, 25% fire rate is really solid. And yeah, it does 65% ricochet damage applying all bullet proc, so it works on full auto, right? You can apply this to multiple characters. Ricochet is way better now. I see every Infernus run it now, very strong. Unstoppable, I feel like, is almost a must on a lot of carry characters, because there's not a lot of other options for CC other than this item. I think this is Loki, the new E-Shift for 3k. I think once people get good at this item, this is insane. You can technically parry every single ability in the game. You can parry Paradox Swap. You can parry Lasso. You can parry Black Hole even. You can parry Lash Ult. You can parry Ground Slam of Lash, right? It's not like most people think of this as like the ultimate counter, but you can parry just like if you see the lash animation where the ground slam comes in, right? You just negate 800 damage from the ground slam. Right? You can parry Great Talon Bird. You can parry Great Talon Arrows if you time it correctly, right? This is an insane item, and it gives you a bonus if you hit it, right? And it's not that long of a cooldown, right? So this could like save you from 2 spells a fight if you do it correctly. I think this item is insane. It's so good. It's a very high skill setting item. We're not talking about this build in specific right now, King Phoenix. We're talking about the big winners and losers in terms of items. Other losers. Do not buy weapon and spirit shielding. These items are bait and terrible. These are like the old barriers, but they're horrible. They give you nothing. You spend 1,600 for a worse reactive barrier, okay? And the reason being is, these items give you barrier, and the way barrier works now is it gives you basically it's bonus HP. Think of it as just having more HP. So it gives you 400 bonus HP, but only if they deal 200 gun damage in the 3.5 second time span. And then it only lasts for 8 seconds, and it has a 40-second cooldown. Whereas reactive barrier has half the cooldown, okay? And it's way easier to proc, because someone is gonna do like a slower stun on you, right? So these items are useless. They're fucking bad. Like, they're the worst items in the game. Don't buy them. They're bait. These items, however, are insane. Okay? These are the old bullet and spirit armor, but they have the old barrier effects, and they last for longer. Okay? So, as you see, this gives me 18% spirit resist, but it also gives me spirit power and cooldown reduction as long as I'm above 65% HP. So this is even better than old Enchanter's barrier, like mid-game, because it's way more likely that I'm above 65% HP than it is for my barrier to be active, right? Barrier is being broken somewhat fast in fights, but 65% HP, that's like, you know, almost half. But it's not as strong in lane because it only gives you spirit resist, right? So don't spam this early. Like, it's not a lane item, but it's great mid-game. It's like a really, really high value mid-game item. Same for Battle Vest, okay? So I buy this like mid-game-ish, after laning. Debuff remover got a hard nerf. Very weak now, I want to say. So they reduced the debuff resist to 30% instead of, what was it, 45? So it does way less in terms of like lowering the duration of like a Moan Krill ult or like a brain fart, holy shit, holiday swap, holiday lasso. And you cannot purge ultimates anymore, right? So you cannot debuff remove ultimates. You cannot remove pocket. You cannot remove affliction. You used to be able to remove so many things that you can't remove anymore. Yeah. So yeah, just buy a counterspell instead. Actually, like if you feel like you need to get rid of certain abilities, you need to get good and parry in time, because you can counterspell affliction, right? Yeah, that's good. I just for the record. So yeah, debuff remover way weaker. There's also these very expensive items. These are like the old improved bullet and spirit armor, but they are worse. Okay, so this only gives you spent less, to be fair, than an old improved bullet armor gave you what, 45% or 55 even bullet resist. So this gives me 30, but 60 below 30% health. But if I'm below 30% health, I'm basically dead anyways. So it's way weaker, but it costs a bit less. Same for spirit resilience, right? I think these items are kind of bad, and I feel like if you need resists, what you actually should go for, if you want defensive power, against bullets, you go for plated armor, because this does reduce, this is basically 30% of the damage is completely negated, right? And the on-hits effects are 60% prevented. So this is amazing against like Wraith or Seven, for example, or even Haze. Because what this does is 60% of the time, full auto doesn't work. 60% of the time, power surge doesn't work. And 60% of the time, fixation doesn't work, right? So this is like the new core item if you really want to get rid of bullet armor, I guess. Other than metal skin, obviously. And then for spirit, some people rate this really highly, because it gives you flat spirit resist and debuff resist, but it also reduces one burst by 75% of like a spirit ability. I don't know if it's good. I feel like it might be bait, because it's really easy to get to the 150 damage threshold. So this can be procced. This works once every 14 seconds. So this can be procced on anything, basically, right? Even Wraith late game does that much damage with the card. So this might be bait. So yeah, I would go for plated armor. Did I miss anything? Oh, Infuser. We need to talk about new Infuser. This item is actually kind of broken on Infernus. It gives insane lifesteal, especially if you have healing booster. If you have healing booster, it gives you 100% spirit lifesteal, right? So you proc this after you burn someone and you get insane lifesteal. And it does build out of spirit lifesteal, so it's actually kind of nice. I thought new Infuser was gonna be shit. Yeah, it's good for 7-hold as well. Yeah, true, good point. I think it's good on 7 in general, actually. Because you can proc this, even like during power surge, you will heal a lot, right? I think this is fucking shit. 6,400 for 20% spirit resist? And then taking heavy hits of spirit damage from an enemy reduces a random ability cooldown. 3-second cooldown reduction per hit. It's random. So they would have to do like 10 instances. So for 10 instances, it would reduce cooldowns by 30 seconds? In how many fights do you take? Yeah, like... And it's a cooldown, yes. But I know it's a cooldown. Are you saying it's good? Because I feel like it's bad. Maybe it's a tanky item. But if you're a tank, why not buy fucking plated armor? Or why not buy Juggernaut? Look at fucking Juggernaut, bro. I guess it's good on Shiv, yeah, maybe. Because you can... I guess you get like... Yeah, I can see it being good on Shiv. I don't think it's good on Dynamo. I don't think you want to take... Like, this is for tanks for sure. Alright, say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube.